Hey Cougs, you're watching Coog Cinema Reviews. My name is Kareem.
I'm Matt.
I'm Emily.
And today we're reviewing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
So I guess we could start with overall thoughts on the movie. So we'll start with you, Matt.
I thought it was a big leap in style and, form that Marvel has not taken in several years. That it's just a really far removed from a lot of the MCU things, and I appreciated it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This movie takes a whole different direction, and it's just comparing to all the other Marvel movies, it's a great standalone film. You know, you don't really need to watch any other MCU movie to understand what's going on. And I think it's a great movie for this new generation of Marvel fans after Infinity War, after Endgame. You know, they don't have to see other movies to understand what's going on, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, I would definitely echo what y'all are saying. It's definitely sort of outside of the, we don't need to know much of the other MCU movies to kind of get what's going on in this one. I liked how it was more of a kung fu style movie.
Yeah, the wuxia thing.
Yeah, definitely sort of really honed into genre.
Like the old Ang Lee movies.
Yeah.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Really cool.
a really interesting fact that I found out after watching it in theaters, I went home and I did research. The actor who plays Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, he did all of the stunts.
Yeah.
And if you see in the behind the scenes footage, it's him in the harness for the entire bus scene. It's all him instead of a stunt double, like every single
Yeah, a lot of these Marvel movies, the action in them is basically kind of just really fancy camera work to make it seem more. Like Jackie Chan has this whole thing where he talks about how there's no American actors that know how to fight, that it's all dependent on direction and camera work than it is on actual martial arts skills. So yeah, this sort of was a little bit higher above the rest of the Marvel in that regard for me.
Yeah. And what did you guys think about the opening of the film? Because I was kind of surprised that the first I want to say 10 minutes of the movie is all in Chinese, in Mandarin. It's not even it doesn't even open in English, which I thought was really
I don't think
interesting.
it's quite 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean most of
It's the intro,
scene,
the first 2 or 3 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
It fits the theme of the film. What I don't get is this is hardly the first movie to do this, but the scenes in which the characters who speak Mandarin to each other are speaking in English to each other in private.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your thought is the consistency.
If you ask me to suspend my disbelief, they're all Asian and in Chinese, but they speak in English. I mean, that's one thing. But if you have parts of it where they're speaking exclusively in Mandarin, and then parts where they're speaking in English to each other, and that doesn't make sense to me.
Really?
I guess.
Yeah.
I can see that, but I liked the incorporation. I liked how they did it because they know that it's catered towards a Western audience. You know, for the most part, it's catered towards a Western audience, but they're still paying respects to the culture, the cultural significance behind Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I just don't think subtitles are that big of a deal, honestly.
What did y'all think of the scene with Wenwu, and then Shang-Chi's mother when they first meet and they have that battle? What was her reason on that?
I think it started to set up the aesthetic.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I love just the way they moved with each other and just how
the fight was almost like a dance.
It was like a
choreography.
dance.
Yeah.
It was just they pulled it off, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, and then we cut to Shang-Chi as he's older, and he's working as a valet.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Awkwafina's character. What do you guys think about Awkwafina's character in the movie?
Best part of the movie.
I love her. I think she represents.
I really think she was more interesting than Simu Liu's character, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think she represented the audience's logic, where she's like, what the heck is going on? Why is this happening? That's our mindset. Whoa, he's fighting on a bus. Why are they fighting on a bus? That's her or the scene where they're in China and they found the sister in her underground fight club, and she's on the bamboo sticks, and she's just what is happening? That was my mindset, and I think her character.
Or Macau, I think.
Yeah. I just really loved how she did that.
Yeah, and the relationship in the movie is kind of interesting too, because they don't really start out as like love interests. They're kind of just like friends.
I don't know that I fully bought that by the end though. I mean, like, maybe if we're just talking about the rule of like all main male characters must end up with main female characters because logic or something, but I thought that it set up a really good friend basis with them. I don't know that I bought that they would actually have some kind of romantic attachment to each other by the end of the movie. I mean, I know she kind of like grabbed his arm when they walked through the portal at the end, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I buy that.
Yeah, and then I know you mentioned the bus scene, so we could just talk about that right now. That's like one of the centerpiece like action set pieces in the movie. What did y'all think about
where
that?
most Marvel movies would take up your whole afternoon explaining the character relationships. Shang-Chi basically just 8 minutes in or so says, here's a mystical bus fight with a guy with a sword for an arm, and he cuts the whole bus in half.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of woke me up a little because in I don't know, one of the Thor or Iron Man or Captain America movies, you would still be in the middle of some heroic awning speech or something like that, and this is going, oh, okay, so it moved things along a little faster.
Yeah, and it's so cool. He's like fighting with his jacket, and like I love how like they utilize the entire bus. He's like on top of the bus, on the side of the bus, and it's like there's like a huge dynamic. The way they filmed that.
It took me by surprise, if I'm honest. Like, I agree with mine. It kind of woke me up a little bit. I was like, whoa, okay, this is what we're doing now. I love that.
Yeah, so I really loved the introduction of Shang-Chi's sister in this movie. The way where Shang-Chi enters the ring, and we know that there's like this big fighter that's gonna come up, and at the end, he finally faces the big fighter, and it's revealed to be his sister. I thought that was a really cool intro. Did you guys see that coming? Honestly, did not see that.
Well,
I
mean, there was like 2 people it could have been. I was thinking from the trailers it might have been the Abomination character who is unrecognizable from his last appearance. And the only other person was her, basically. Yeah. So...
I was going into it like, watch it be the sister. Just watch. And then it was the sister, and I was like, yes. It's not predictable in a bad way. At least in my opinion, it's not predictable in a bad way.
It's expected.
I liked it. And I was like, whoa, it's the sister. Yay.
She's not one of my favorite characters in the movie, but I mean, it was basically expected. I think Shang-Chi as a character has a bit of a rushed arc, honestly. He starts at there's the whole thing how the movie just rushes through the intro, which kind of the juxtaposition of the whole superhero things in just on a bus is kind of more entertaining, is more of a funny thing in my head for me than it is to see the Kung Fu warriors in mystical Asia or something. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a character, he works. He has his whole redemption thing. I don't really feel like it's that unique to him. It's fascinating, entertaining. I think more of the characters around him were slightly more compelling, and even the father character was a little bit more of an interesting study to me. But I don't know, just.
I'm gonna beg to differ. I loved the way that they did, how they introduced, because keep in mind, we grew up with Iron Man and Captain America. We've seen them on screen for years.
I don't think I watched most of this for a while.
Well, the majority of us, like MCU fans, or even non-MCU, like the comic books, there's toys, we grew up, watching and loving these characters, and you have to take into consideration that Shang-Chi is the next generation, and some people may be prejudiced against him, but I think that he did a pretty decent job. His arc, I don't want to say it was rushed. I do kind of agree it was rushed, but not in a sense that it was a bad thing. Like, they did explain everything, his character, and me personally, I have lost a parent, and just the complexity, everybody reacts differently to that loss, and I think his arc of realizing, hey, this isn't who I am.
So where does it stand, like in terms of Shang-Chi as an origin film for a superhero, where does it stand amongst the other ones? Like, is there sort of a first movie in a superhero that you guys like better? The first Iron Man, the first Ant-Man, the first Captain America. Like, where does it stand amongst those other, first?
I think
movies?
my favorite ones out of the MCU, out of any of the films, are Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because Doctor Strange is my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah.
Just in general, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I think, it did a great job because I understood what the world was. They explained, in my opinion, they explained it well for me to understand it. I wasn't looking into it super critically. I wasn't overanalyzing things. I just watched it like anybody else would watch it.
Yeah.
And I understood, and compared to Iron Man 1, first Captain America, I think it stands pretty well against them, in introducing the world building.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I thought the actor, Simu Liu, I think he was great as Shang-Chi. Personally, there's other MCU first movies that are, again, Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually really love Iron Man and the first Iron Man, the first Captain America movie. But overall, I thought this was really solid. I like this more than the first Black Panther movie. So I would definitely they definitely did a good job with this one. And again, Simu Liu and Shang-Chi is a pretty interesting character.
I think Simu Liu really does fit the role of Shang-Chi, and I
just
can't wait to see what he does, because he still has to grow into the character.
Yeah.
He feels slightly passive, though.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it's just it's a bad comparison because it seems like everyone in the movie is better than his character about something. Awkwafina is funnier than him. Tony Leung is a more interesting, compelling character than him. Michelle Yeoh and several of the other characters are just better actors than Simu Liu. I think he's overshadowed by a lot of greater people in the cast and individual things. I mean, he still does a good job, but I just think he's sort of unremarkable, but still nice as a protagonist character, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, all I need is a little bit of complexity, and I think you have a great character, which I think Shang-Chi has. You have he's a character that's sort of running away from his past. He kind of regrets the things that he's done. He also, I think, doesn't even realize just how traumatizing of a childhood he had. Because there's that scene where he's sitting down with Awkwafina. And Awkwafina's you were raised to be an assassin by the age of 14. Do you realize how messed up that is? And Shang-Chi's yeah, that is kind of messed up. He's sort of never really coped with that.
He was desensitized.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that I like it. I like Shang-Chi as this standalone film, and it's just, I would watch it more than I would.
Well, it definitely the world, between the world building and the concept that plays out, and it does. It's not like we have this. It's not like the whole Marvel format where it's just some great evil threatens things in a very specific way. It's more about a story of personal understanding than it is about peril that, combined with the scenery, where I think that gives it more personality than a lot of the more recent Marvel movies.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coog Cinema Reviews. My name is Kareem.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Emily, and catch us next time where we will be reviewing Squid Game.